Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Get to Know UIC, Get to Know United in Christ. Today, I have the absolute privilege of being joined by none other than Kelsey. Kelsey, thank you so much for taking the time to come hang out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I very much like you. You've got like the most glamored lights up in the background. I
I
very
do.
much like those. They make this just immediately feel way more cheery, which is maybe how we need to start off week 9 of all of this. So
Yeah, right?
awesome. Awesome. So, Kelsey, for folks who maybe haven't gotten a chance to know you yet, or maybe haven't gotten to know you to this kind of degree, tell us, how long have you been connected now with United in Christ? How long have you been a part of this congregation?
Um, Ever since I was born.
You know, funny, that's the exact same answer that Landon gave the other day.
Um, I was baptized when I was a baby, so I grew up there.
So this is I mean, this is the congregation you've come to know, right? Like this has
Yeah.
always been your church, your home place. That's very cool.
Yes.
That's very, very awesome. So I mean, obviously then like there's no sense in asking, what brought you here. I mean, I think we know who brought you here.
Yeah.
Awesome. But I mean, but there's something to be said about the fact that you're still here, right? 20 some odd
Right.
years later, you're still a part of this community and you keep coming back to this place and you stay plugged in all sorts of ways. So why, right? Like even if this is just the place you were kind of born into and it was natural for you, what makes you want to stay connected with this community here?
Um, I've gotten to know the youth really well, and so like helping with that and watching them grow up in their faith and in the people they are today. Like I've watched Allie grow up and become a young adult, and
Yeah.
Amy is in the same process. And ever since I've been able to actually like help and be a part of youth, that's just I love it. And I like how like our church, if someone needs something or is in need, like everyone comes together to help in any way that they can.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's got to be very cool to like kind of watch or at least be a part of that like transition, right? Because obviously, if you were born and raised in this congregation, at one point you were that youth, right? You
Yeah.
were a part of that group, and
Yeah.
so what was that like for you? What did it mean to you at the time to be a part of a youth group like that, growing up?
To be a part of a youth group for me,
Yeah,
uh for me it was really little. There was
sure,
only like three of us.
that's okay.
But like uh like Krista, especially Krista Worth, I still talk to her
Yeah.
to this day. Like you get to become like a close knit little group, and you know that they're always going to be there for you no matter what. They're
Abs-
always there for you.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think at least I know for me, it's rewarding to now see that taking place for this group of youth, right?
Yes.
Who, yeah, even though
Yeah.
we might be a small crew, but boy, howdy, they
Right.
are a tight knit group, right?
We really are. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very, very cool. So as you think about this, right, and as you think about the ways in which you've kind of grown through the ministries of this place, and as you've now kind of gotten involved and plugged in, as you think about United in Christ, where is it that you see kind of God at work among this community? What are the things about this congregation that excite you, or that you think folks just need to not miss out on?
Um. Again, the youth.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
absolutely.
It's what I do post.
No, for sure, for
um.
sure.
Uh. Like they're always like, if you come to them and say, okay, this person is in need of this, what do you think we could do to help them? They'll sit there and they'll brainstorm ideas with you,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're more than willing to just go and jump right into anything we throw at them.
Oh
And
yeah.
um they're always welcome to any new person who comes, and they'll, before anyone gets a chance to introduce them, hey, what's your name? What do you like to do? Like
Right.
that's our group. And I think that's awesome. I also like how, and I kind of already said this, but like when we like do fundraisers as the church,
Yeah.
like it doesn't always just go to the church. We help other organizations.
Oh
And
yeah.
I yeah.
No, absolutely. And again, I think we've touched on this a few times now in these videos, but like I think that's really important and worth celebrating, that this community of faith, when we do things like that, like the ham and bean soup dinner, right?
Yeah.
Like those kind of things, we leverage it not to boost our own selves, but like to make sure we are instilling doses of God's love back out into the world, right? We make
Right.
sure we give all these proceeds away from, like the hem bead soup, the silent auction, the
Hmm.
Operation Santa Claus, right? All of these things, like, they're not about us. They're not
Right.
about propping ourselves up at all, right?
Our church is just more than willing to go like help in any way, no matter if it's the youth or our ministries.
Yeah,
They're always willing to go
yeah.
and jump right into any project.
Exactly, exactly. It's just like this can-do attitude of like, yep, let's get it done, right?
Yeah.
Like, bring it on. And I think, we've both seen that, particularly with the youth. The fact that our
Hmm.
youth don't like the congregation, through all of these fundraisers and through their support, like, get them to the youth gathering and back, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
that is remarkable, and that is an incredible sign of support for them.
Yeah.
To go and be able to engage in these kinds of things. I think that's so cool. So, but now let's make it personal, right? So for you and in your time with this congregation, obviously there's a lot of ways in which you've been plugged in, and there's a lot of really cool life-giving moments that we can see taking place. But what has been being a part of this community meant to you over the years? What has it meant for you in your own life over the years?
Um, just knowing that no matter what you're going through, um, from anything like terrible to something like graduating college, like they're always there for you. They're there to support you, and if you aren't there for like 6 months at a time and then come back, they're giving you a hug and asking you, "How are you? Is there anything we can do to help you?" Like that's and I've been at my lowest and I've been at my highest, and they've they've been there for me. Now half my church is my family, but
Sure, that definitely helps. No,
but yeah.
no,
So yeah.
absolutely. And I think that's a really good way of putting it, right? Like, being a part of a genuine community, being a part of, and being a part of this congregation means it's a community who's going to be there for you, yes, when you're celebrating the best moments, but it's
Hmm.
also going to be there at your lowest moments too, right?
Yep.
To surround you and rally around you and support you in the midst of that. This is why we do this youth group exercise every time we gather, almost every time we gather, right? We do
Right.
roses and thorns, right? Like,
Yep.
how can we as a community celebrate your roses, those good moments that are taking place, and how can we support you among the thorniness that sometimes comes
Yeah.
with days, right?
Yep.
That's so cool, and I'm glad that, like, that is played out and been lived out for you over the years.
Definitely has. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. So now obviously there's a tremendous amount of rich history and cool things going on in the present. But as you think about what's next for this congregation, as you think about where God is calling us into God's future, what are your hopes and dreams for this community? What do you hope to see kind of unleashed at United in Christ?
Well, Camden's coming up into youth,
That's
and
right.
so I'm super excited to watch him grow in his faith
Yeah,
and he's got a good group of kids
they've got a
to
solid
make,
group.
yeah, to make friends with, and just to watch our church grow not only in faith but within people, and
Absolutely.
getting everyone just to be there. So
Absolutely, yeah. To see this kind of next generation of youth, we started this junior group for that very
yeah.
reason, right? To make sure that they could begin facilitating this sense of community
Yeah.
now, so that it's even richer in the future. I got to tell you, I think you'll get a kick out of this. You know what we did at our digital junior group last week?
No.
We all got in a Zoom call and we went on digital roller coasters at Disney World.
Oh no. That's
So we
awesome.
got to go ride all the Disney rides. So I told them that they have to bring their favorite ride this week. So that's what our
This
junior.
week.
So, but like it's about finding those things that we can rally around, right? About building
Right.
that sense of community, even in the most ridiculous ways right now. Because hey,
Right.
what's not ridiculous at this point?
Yeah.
But that's very cool, very very cool. Now I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but because I just want to think back because I want to give folks a snapshot. This past week during our video study series, we watched one of the speakers from the Houston ELCA youth gathering, and
Okay.
you have now, between being a chaperone and being a participant, you've been to what? Three, four,
Three.
three,
Three
three
of
youth
them.
gatherings, right? And give folks a taste of that. Like, what has been the highlights of those gatherings? For adults who maybe didn't get to chaperone and who weren't ever youth while this was a thing, right?
Right.
What's the cool draw of it? What is the highest moments of that for you?
Well, going as a student, you sit there and you just meet a bunch of people and sitting, yeah, you go with your group, but you're
Right.
sitting around how many other
Tens of
people,
thousands.
and yeah. And it's like you're sitting there and you talk to the person beside you from another state,
Oh yeah.
and you get to hear their story, their life, and it's just you learn that you're not the only like person going
Yeah.
through whatever situation you might be at that time.
Yeah.
And that's the same with the speakers. Every speaker hits you in a different way.
That's for sure, isn't it?
um and then going as an adult as a chaperone, it's you watch the kids, and that was amazing. When we went to Houston, I didn't get to experience that, and that was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my sister and Amy, like watching them have their aha moment,
Oh
and
yeah.
Larissa, like it was amazing, and they all had it at a different time.
Exactly, exactly. At some point in the week, there's you don't know when it's going to come, but at some moment, I like that.
Yeah,
There's an aha moment where something just like
yeah.
super resonates, or you hear it in a new and very personal way, and it's very
Yep.
cool. Like it's bound to happen, but you never know from whom or where it's gonna
For
pop up.
right,
Right,
and it wasn't just the kids, like it
right,
for me, like for like
sure.
everyone who went, like
Oh
it
yeah,
in some way, and it's amazing to watch. But it was more cool to watch as the chaperone,
right.
watching the kids have their like,
Getting to see it take place.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you there. It's very rewarding, right?
It is.
To get to
Yeah.
be privileged enough to witness that with them. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for taking this time together, for hanging out. You're starting off our week right, I think. But before you go, I give everyone a chance. They get to share whatever it is they'd like. So this is your moment. This is your wild card opportunity. You can tell anything to all the folks who are gathered around at home. Anything you want to share with them, with the congregation right now. The moment is yours.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. It's like a little deer in the headlights look. Whoa.
I just hope that everyone's staying safe, not going too crazy, because I know that feeling.
Oh yeah.
um, and that hopefully we can all get together and gather soon back in church, and I can hopefully soon see youth in person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
But we want to make sure we're doing it as safe as possible when we get
right.
there, right? Absolutely.
Right.
Very cool. Well, thank you. And again, thanks for taking the time to hang with us today. This has been really nice.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, good, good. I'm glad. And to everyone else at home, God's continued peace and blessings in the days ahead. We'll be talking to you sooner rather than later, I hope. But in the meantime, once again, thank you, Kelsey. This has been wonderful. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.
Bye.